Welcome back to the Social Distance Podcast. I know it's been a long time. There's been a lot going on. George has got a new cat. We went to the Rugby World Cup final. We talk about the end of the season. What's it like transitioning from one team to another? How does it actually work? We talk about Saudi Arabia, breakaway sporting leagues. Is there a place for it in cycling? Probably. Like, share,
and
subscribe.
is there such thing as a good deed? Probably not.
Exactly. A selfless good deed. You tell us.
And also, how many coffees you had this morning, Bills? That was very quick.
I got told off by George early in the show to bring more energy, and it's just sort of enhanced me, and it's given me a dope.
Well, you
I
still
needed
like
to
it.
face the day.
I like
You
it.
set your microphone and went blurry-eyed and went...
I needed that kick up the
You
ass.
didn't reply to me.
I got to kick up the ass. That kick up the ass from George won't make the coverage, won't make the show, but it did happen. So thanks, George.
Let's just run the intro and wing it like we always do and see what comes out of it.
Let's get ready to rumble! Front kick.
Just getting bored and basketball chat.
My radar's going pretty hard at the moment. I think we should.
Will you shut up, man?
That escalated quickly.
We're going to need to get some more qualified guests on the show, eh?
Good start. George is not even here.
Yeah, perfect. Had a month off. You'd think after a month off, you'd be like, right, I'm going to get this done properly. And then he finally reappears with a cat.
Mate, it's been a long time since the show, and we can pluck all sorts of excuses out of the apple tree.
We've run out.
But a lot's happened to the hosts of the show over the course of that month, but none bigger than George acquiring a cat. Look at him. You can't. You're bad enough trying to get your attention span on the show, let alone when you're looking after a cat.
What happened, George?
When Caitlin gave me a call last night. She's out running. She's going for a long run upon dusk, and she calls me and she's like, "Oh, I've just come across a family of cats, and they've been dumped. Because they were really friendly, and they were like,
wait, where were they dumped? Where were they?
Oh,
were they in a location?
Oh, like in a cattery.
Easy, yeah.
They've been dumped in someone's house and they're just roaming around their backyard.
Yeah, they've been dumped in someone's lounge, curled up by the fire. And she's like, this cat's not going to survive.
We need to intervene. We need to pull one of these cats to safety out of that lounge room in front of the fire.
So it was there's a family of 5 cats out in the cutter yet in the middle of nowhere, Biscano. And then here's this meowing, screaming. And they come out and they're really friendly cats, and they've obviously been dumped. And all of them were reasonable size, like enough to survive a winter's night. And this one was just a tiny little runt, like half the size of the rest of them. So she's ringing me and she's like, "Can we take a cat?" And I was like, "Nah, can't have a cat." Anyway,
our listener base is going to change so much after watching this footage. Everyone who's watching on YouTube, everyone's
over your back.
Every man that watches this show, their wife will be watching this as well. No.
Yeah. The cat man.
And look at George with this cute cat on his back.
They love cat videos. Let's not beat around the bush. This will get the hits up.
You wait till he shits all over me, and then we'll see he still loves them. But anyway, so she's like, I said, okay, we can't have a cat. Like what we had full time. Basically, we're gypsies. We're on the road, every second week. Anyway, get home. We've got a cat. So
that's it.
Okay.
Done.
Well, there you go. Right. Thanks for hearing my advice there. And then anyway, we've found some homes and stuff, and now we're going through the whole process of like, oh, can we keep a cat? Can we not keep a cat?
You can't.
And then we ring my parents because my dad's like he's a twitcher. Twitcher is like a
gamer.
Oh no, yeah, I know. No, not that twitcher. The twitcher's like a bird watcher. Goes around the world watching birds. And
Bill Lickett's one of those.
Is he?
Yeah.
Have you seen the movie The Biggest Year or The Big Year or something?
No.
Oh, it's with Owen Wilson, and they go around if you do a big year as a twitcher, that's when you're trying to see as many different birds as possible in 1 year.
I never understood that. What do they do with binoculars? They search through trees, they find a bird, and they tick it off a
Dad will lie in a bush for like 3 hours, and then you'll see this. He'll go to all ends of the world. He was he in China recently?
Hunting birds.
So I know
We didn't hunt them. He's looking at a rock basically, and then he'll go. Then the rock will move and go. See, that's a little grey warbler or something.
So I can see this digression's going. So he's obviously a fan of what's the guy's name from Trade Me? Gareth
Morgan.
Gareth Morgan. So he's gone, George, you can't keep a cat but you can't release it because it will kill the wild bird. That was a phone call I made in the herds.
Right. Yeah, okay.
So I rang him this morning and said, what do you reckon? Like, we can't keep this cat, hey? Like, we can't keep this cat. And my old man's killed more cats in his life than you'd like to think, you know? But recently he's getting older, gotten soft. And he's took one look at the cat and goes, oh, can't kick that cat out on the street. And it's just like reaffirming everything I didn't want to hear, that it was like the more people I talk to, everyone I talk to who's said to me, like, who I think is going to say to me, you can't keep that cat. Your lifestyle is not conducive to a cat. Everyone has said to me, oh, yeah, you got to keep that.
Yeah, but you've got to, there's two ways there's two organs that think in these situations, you know, but there's only one that actually makes sense. You either think with the old ticker or you think with the brain. And the heart's always going to say, I mean, I'm looking at this video and I'm almost crying, thinking, geez, that's a cute cat. But my head's saying, what the fuck are you going to do with that cat, man?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with the head.
Well, it's not going to stay that size.
I love it how you go, just put
piss
organs
that cat off.
that think. It's like, there's two organs that think. It's like, no, but I'm thinking like half the guys when they say like, oh, your dick's driving the bus, like for men on a night out. You know what I mean? I was thinking like, okay, two organs, where's he going with this?
Yeah.
There's two organs that influence thought, I should say.
Mm.
So you're all chips in for the cat, George. What's its name for starters? What do we got? Male, female?
Oh, I think it's a male, and
you think it is? Have you looked?
Yeah, but he's not running a massive operation. This is why he's running the litter. This is why he's running the litter.
Right. Okay. So Stumpy, what have you got a name locked in or what?
Yeah, I want to call it Rooster.
You want to also get that cat to work out your Wi-Fi.
Yeah, call it Jonesy because it's a ginger.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I wanted to call it Rooster because it's a scrappy little fella. Like Roo.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
You have no proof of it surviving and scrapping. You saved it
one
before it had
night
to
with
do
it.
that.
You don't even know its personality.
It didn't even get the chance to survive. Scrapping to survive.
This thing had the choice of a gutter or your apartment. So yeah, it's up and about at the moment. Wait till the personality kicks in, mate.
I call it Pharrell Williams because it got lucky.
That's it. Pharrell. That's a better name.
Maybe we should call it Lucky. Yeah. Maybe got unlucky picking us.
Abandoned
like absentee parents.
Boys, this part of the year, obviously the biggest talking point is the Drone of Fire Festival. That was always a highlight. Is it still going or what?
Yeah, it's in full. I reckon it's almost busier than what it has been in years past. And I don't know, maybe it's because our view, like my viewpoint at least of it, is different to what it was like when you were in Girona. Because we used to embrace it in Girona.
They still do it with like 4 ambulances. So people don't know. Girona, Spain, there's a fire festival. It's like running of the bulls with fireworks. In any Western country, they ain't fucking floating, mate. Like they're not going to do that in Australia. But you've run there. We took the Ween Dog there in 2014. He got 3rd-degree burns. We went there again in 2016. I can overlay some vision of that. But then I thought that common sense prevailed and they were going to shut it down. Like, that's it.
Do you know what shut it down? The only thing that shut it down was when COVID. They weren't worried about the 3rd-degree burns. They were just worried about COVID year was the year it didn't run.
Oh, because people get a spicy cough, not 3rd-degree burns.
Not. So basically what it is, though, it's quite a strange thing. You run down these narrow hallways and people just light up skyrockets.
Oh. Yeah, they got those guys dressed as devils with like these sticks. And again, I've got overlay of this shit. So if you watch on YouTube, enjoy. But you would literally spear tackle these guys, get sprayed with like sparks. You'd have to wear like old rags because you'd end up with burn holes. But just to survive at the end was like a feat.
No one of our friendship group, at least that I know of, went to Corrifuck this year because it was the same time as the Rugby World Cup final. So we all watched rugby.
Okay.
Mm.
Yeah,
but I was on. Don't get me wrong. But the fairs on. It's like a whole week of celebration. But I mean, I don't embrace it like I used to now because town's so fucking busy. It's busy.
Yeah.
And it's messy. Like it's not a nice busy, it's a
transitioned
messy busy. But it's a messy busy. Like there's rubbish everywhere. And like you go to cafes and cafes are like under the pump, so the tables are messy and like it's like not a nice busy. You know what I mean?
One thing I wanted to talk to you boys about is it comes up every year in October, transition into November, and that is you can almost run a lottery of how many riders get fined for riding the wrong bikes or having the wrong kit that have signed to a new team, which the whole rule is bullshit. When is the cycling UCI, whoever makes jurisdiction, actually going to step up and go, from November 1, whoever you sign with next year, you're free to wear their kit and
but
new bike?
I think it's like it depends a lot on the team you're leaving. For example, like Vorders, he was
he was ruthless.
He's like, right, I'm strapped for cash, and you know,
Own your ass,
and also like, you know, you're just like, come on, bro, just don't be a knob, you know, like they're leaving the team. So he I think it was Hugita and someone else got absolutely smashed last year. Also Movistar, we all went to what you normally do is you get written permission. That's how it works. So you say like my management company will say to UAE, is it all right if can we get written permission that George has the right to ride a factor? And you basically have this agreement where you don't publish photos. And last year when I first moved to UAE, we went to training camp in October, and we all were like going to ride the Colonagos. And we were new guys. I was coming from the Cervelo, and Mark Soler was coming from Movistar. And like Jumbo was like, yeah, no worries, we know how it works. They've got new guys coming from other teams. Go for it on the Colnago. So we're riding around the Colnago, and Mark Soler has to bring his Canyon because the boss of Movistar was just like, no, you don't have permission.
Well, that's the thing. It works both ways for a team. You got new guys coming in, you got other guys going out. Wouldn't you go, all right, well, can't we work this out?
Well, we've got Formolo leaving to Movistar now. So I'm hoping that when they ask for permission, UAE just say, nah.
Do you know what it comes down to, I reckon? And we've had this discussion before, but I still reckon, with the exception of the year that you retire from cycling, where it kind of is a bit shit, but like contracts should just run from 1st of November to 31st of October, cycling contracts.
I thought about this though, and then it's very hard to plan your life when it finishes in November.
What do you mean? Like when you end your career?
No, but I'm more thinking about guys who have no jobs or like job security. The season ends, still looking for a job, and then there's often this like Hail Mary signings in November, December, and those guys are suddenly.
But that can still happen because the racing calendar still is the same.
Yeah,
so,
I know what you mean.
You know what I mean? Like you're either under contract or you're not under contract because every month of the year is still filled up by a contract, but it's just shifting it so that your team so in your situation going from UAE to Israel Premier Tech, now as soon as it clicks over 1st of November, you are now paid and employed by, or not employed, but paid by.
Because there's not
Israel
one thing I use in UAE already. Like it's now 1st of November. I'm using a trainer from, I'm now with David from Israel Premier Tech. I'm with team, everything is.
But who's paying you? Who's paying you? The other team, you know? So that's where it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anyway.
Well, the thing that the general punter would be interested in, I reckon, is how much kit are you left with at the end of the year? Where does that go? How many bikes are you left with at the end of the year? Where does that go? How's the actual transition go from stuff that punters are go far out?
Well, this is the annoying thing.
What do you do with it?
You still ride the kit until 31st of December.
Right. All occasions, training rides, everything.
Yeah.
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 That's the one part of your contract like that, George says, you know, and it's the same in every team, in every transition from whatever team to whatever team. You take on the new coach, you take on a new nutritionist, you start working with the other team around race calendar planning, et cetera, But the one thing that doesn't change is the kit. So that's the one thing of the one demand of the team that's still paying you is that you need to wear the clothing store, but everything else. So it's quite bizarre, I reckon.
What do you do with the kit though? This is the weird thing, right? Like, so I've just finished moving house yesterday, and what I discovered is I have about 400 boxes of cycling kit because I've always, some guys do sell it. You can sell it, but it's a bit weird. And so what I did is send like quite a bit home to like New Zealand to try and go to like the track, like the junior trackies and stuff like this. But the price of sending 1 kilo of kit home is like €100 for like 2 jerseys. It's just cheaper if I just go to New Zealand and buy kids' jerseys. It literally is like, so I don't know what to do with it. Do you know what I do? I store it in my garage and wait till it's worth nothing and sell it.
I just went through it this year with all my kit, and I literally had my whole career's worth of clothing. It was insane how much I had.
It's an opportunity there, boys. Gruppetto Foundation will make something happen. We'll turn kit into something that can raise money for a good cause, I think. Because think of how many professional cyclists over their journey have so much kit, as you said, like stored in an area where you go, I can't use it, but people auctioning it off could be used for a good purpose, I think. Like if
we could
sorry.
I was going to say you could just do like Movember, for example, and just like incentivize donations. So big donations, you get this jersey to whatever.
Yep.
The problem is that I'm also we've tried that on the show. And sometimes it takes us like 4 months to get to the post office, which is like 800 meters down the road.
No, but that's where the service course, for example, all you need is like a charity type bin set up where they can drop it at a central location at hubs where there's going to be professional cyclists. So it's like a donation hub where you can dump the stuff, sign it, have some sort of labeling. They pay for postage and then it goes online, validates it all, and raise money for a good cause.
I reckon you'd be unpleasantly surprised with how many people would actually want to do that. I would, George would, but I reckon you'd be unpleasantly surprised by how many cyclists would go, I'm not giving my kid away, I'll fucking sell it, it's mine.
Well, no, you call them out.
Yeah,
you call them out. You shame him, publicly shame him. Hey, Poggy, you're a fucking asshole.
I'll tell you what, the nicest thing, so all the kids in my old building when I started cleaning out the house, I just started giving out all my stuff, and just kidded them out in casual stuff. And yesterday, the Swedish experience, they saw that we were doing the final lockup, we're doing the inspection that the old players were leaving. And this little, maybe 8, comes running out in full, UAE Adidas casual kit. And he's just gives you a hug and then take a photo of his parents and stuff like that. Because I just left some bags by their doors, where I knew the little kids were. And I was like, man,
that's great.
Have you ever heard of this theory, right? That there's no such thing as a good deed. So every good deed you do isn't. How do you word it? It's like true altruism.
There's no selfless good deed. There's no selfless good deed.
Yes, yeah. True altruism doesn't exist. I didn't give that kid that kit because it was a good thing to do. If you really think about it, I did it because I wanted to feel good about.
Yeah.
So everything you do.
It's a hard one because in some ways that was a selfless good deed because you also.
No, it's because I couldn't be fucked and do anything with that kit. So I went.
Yeah, true.
I'm running out of boxes.
That's how you aided yourself. Yeah.
I'm running out of boxes. I don't know what to do with this. It's in the cupboard. It's already there. All the shit's gone. I go, that kid will fit us. Yeah. And then he came out and I know his dad, and I felt good about it.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's
I wonder. It'd be pretty hard to identify. There'll be a listener out here that will know the answer to this.
Maybe this is the only true good deed. When you do something that you really don't want to do, and it completely fucks you in the process. Maybe that's a good deed. But even then, is that just to avoid your moral? Is that just to silence your conscience?
Yeah. And is it a good deed if you're forced to do it?
Yeah, if you're getting shamed on Twitter because you're not giving your kit to kids,
Like
Yeah.
a
Is that
good
a good
deed is,
deed?
a good deed is voluntary. I would have thought.
Well, here's an idea. Does it even matter? As long as it's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, and it helps
Well,
someone else.
here's a question for you. Of all the kits this year, what would fetch for the highest price? Like, who's in the top 5 premium kits? Like, if you had to sell like a jersey signed, who would be in the top 5? Because when it
I would
comes to
say that
jerseys,
Vanderpool, I
mix.
reckon.
Yeah, it has to be a specialist jersey. Like, who's our national? James Orham's jersey. That's a beautiful one. The national champion New Zealand. That's always when I was national champion. That jersey was in hot demand, and I kept every single one of them. So,
Well,
I reckon I would say the most, if you were to do it based purely on statistics, how many people would bid, let's say, or put their hand up to own a signed rainbow jersey by Matthew Vanderpool? I reckon that would be the most popular jersey of the year,
okay,
purely because of
regulation
the
kits.
Belgian Dutch
yeah, I agree.
love of cycling.
Yeah,
But the thing that's weird is like you'd think Jumbo would be popular, right? But you can't get away from the fact that it's fucking ugly. So, you know what I mean? As much as I see a couple of punishers peddling around in it, like I think what's always been like the coolest team has been Quickstep. It's always been the coolest team.
Wolfpack.
So, Wolfpack, all of that. A couple of mad dogs there. Bit of
I'd say
history.
Sky was probably pretty popular back in the day.
Yep. I'm glad Quickstep's still going to be around. I was when this merger stuff was going on, I was pretty in the dumps about it, mainly because I had a couple of really good friends on Quickstep that were going to be out in their ass. But I couldn't believe that it got to that point. You got Jumbo, who's the biggest team in the world, and arguably what looked like the most financially secure, budget-wise. They're not reliant on like one benefactor. It was like an owned license by and Richard Plugger, man, this guy is he has saved some teams. He's very good at what he does in terms of like he took that from Blanco through to Jumbo, brought on Visma. He's done really well. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, this is the best team in the world, and they want to destroy another team just to keep afloat. And what does that say about the state of financially of cycling? I was really in the dumps about that, so I'm pretty happy that didn't happen.
Exactly, you're exactly right. Like it just says like, it was a real just a shining light on the state of the sport at times. Where you're like, if Jumbo Visma or Jumbo Visma or whatever are in the shit, like we're all fucked. We're all doomed. Like they win every single race. And they get
but it's a classic example. They say that sponsorship, no matter at what level, it maxes out after 3 years. So after 3 years,
can't get any more purchase.
Maxed out. You've
like
maxed out your. Yeah, that's it. So
what
when
do you mean,
Sky,
like nightclub?
Oh, I think like the general rule of thumb in like that sort of high level hospitality is you buy like a nightclub, you get it to a point where it's fucking pumping, and then you sell it. Like that's or like a restaurant or. I don't know though.
Where'd you read that? Like on?
I think it's quite often though. I think
I think you got that backwards. I think it's
recycle.
like you bleed money for 3 years, and then just
then
when
you
you're about to break even, you sell it.
I don't know. Again, let's just rely on the listeners to correct me.
Look at Sky. Like remember at the point where Sky, after winning all those tours, were like, we're out of a sponsor. We're fucked. And then Ineos came on board and they got out of the shit. But it just proves that once you win a couple of Tour de France's, like you've already maxed out your exposure. Everyone knows of Jumbo and all that stuff. Like
and that's why we need the Saudis.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
They are coming. And like there's probably not a sport, and whatever your opinion of it is, there's probably not a high level sport. I would say cycling's a high level sport because of the like in terms of like bums on seats and people watching it because of the Tour de France, like annually the biggest sporting event. There's not a sport like that that's safe from a revolution of a breakaway league or some sort or something, I reckon.
But also, I think we've touched
football.
Before, like it's never been more needed, right? In terms of the ASO just absolutely flogging us for the TV rights. In every other sport, in terms of like eyes on screens, are we the number one in the world, number two in the world? It's top, this podium.
You have to be up there.
And you think about like what those TV rights were, and somehow we've just all signed up for this deal that absolutely fleeces you. We're not one of those where all of that just goes into a rich French family's pocket. Well, no, I think even ASO might have been sold already to. I'm not sure, but this breakaway league, I very few details are out and about it. But like,
what's the story about the breakaway league? I don't know anything about it. I've been on cycling news in 6 months.
Oh.
I think there is an interest from the Saudis to do it.
Oh, yeah?
I don't know. It's rumours. Maybe we're going to be dropping the rumour.
Yeah, maybe.
I like how we start talking about innuendo and then we dig a hole and our brains are going, hang on, we work for teams. I don't, but you two are going, hang on, where am I going here? Should I pull the pin? Yeah, well, let's pull the pin.
What I more meant by what I said was that I think that there's an opening in cycling for it to happen, and if it's going to happen to anybody, it's going to be the Saudis. And
that's right.
If they can do it, they can do it against PGA. They can do it against cycling.
Oh, yeah.
But what was the turnaround in PGA? What was Rory on, for example, in PGA, and then what did he earn in Liv?
Okay, so what happened is obviously Liv went hard. They bought up all the players, and they all signed these contracts. And even Trump said at one point, he goes, the players that don't sign across the Liv now will regret it for the rest of their lives, because when there's a merger, they will get nothing. And they're all going, bullshit. And then what they did is they go, you know who we're going to target? We're going to target the head of the PGA, and we'll butter his bread, who signs the dotted line. And then he's eventually caved because money talks. And then he just signed a merger deal. None of the players knew. So all the ones that stood firm on principle, because they're led by this bloody honcho, they got screwed. And they're not going to get compensation. None of these players that go, hey, look, we didn't sign for Liv, but now that we're merged, can we get a bone? No, you got.
But also,
here's your bone.
No one actually knows what the merger is yet. I think the official announcement's like 31st of December, where they announce what the merger details is like. So no one actually knows what the merger is yet, like how it's going to look. Is it going to be two separate tours or whatever? Yeah. But I also heard that like a lot of players that went to Liv, like the numbers weren't exactly what they seemed, but they were still good because if you're someone like Ian Poulter, like even if he signed with Liv, I think the rumors of what he signed for were probably a little bit exaggerated. I think he signed for less, but let's say it's still $2 million. Okay. That's guaranteed $2 million for Ian Poulter, who otherwise had $0 guaranteed because he was at the level in golf where he wasn't making cuts. He wasn't qualifying for tournaments, so he wasn't making money. So he's going, well, fuck, I'll go there and make $2 million a year. Sweet. And have a ball and drink booze and play in shorts and be the larrikin I am.
Exactly. You can't blame him for what he did.
Do you think there's a spot for you in the cycling breakaway league? The alleged cycling breakaway league?
For me, like the comeback rider who can't make
No, just to carve your little niche out as a larrikin DS. Maybe.
No, he's a special comments guy, George. They need to throw the bucks at Bills as like that sort of larrikin giving little insights on the commentary side of things. I reckon if they're going to go full dollars at Bills, because there's a lot of DSs, but to get maximum value out of Bills' personality, it's the joker on the ground, like that guy from F1 who does the Vox Pops. Like pre-start. That's sort of Bills' niche, I reckon.
Do you reckon
if he wants maximum dollars?
Do you reckon the football? I mean, it's not a breakaway league. The Saudi football league is not a breakaway league per se, because I guess they still have to abide by the rules of FIFA or whoever the governing bodies are. But in some senses, it's a breakaway league because they're taking the best players away from England and away from Europe to play in Saudi Arabia because they can just pay them the cash. So they're kind of forming their own league that's going to become a popular league potentially because of the people who are going there, without actually having to do a breakaway league.
It's true. It's a good point. So establish a league for 3 or 4 years. So what the Saudis should do is just do a league, not the big bells and whistles. Just do some form of
Do some
cycling
races.
league. Just do some races.
Mm.
Dip your
Yeah,
toe
but
in
these
the water.
races are in Saudi Arabia. Who the fuck wants to do them?
Yeah, but the money's right. You'll
That's
do
the
some
thing,
trips,
yeah.
GB.
If they said, look, we're going to do 5 races in Saudi Arabia, then we're going to give you $1 million bucks a pop.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, like, you know, it's similar with this PGA stuff. It's like everyone has a conscience until the right dollar is put in front of them. Until you go, oh, now my whole life's different if I do this.
And where's the line? Where's the line of what's right and wrong in your mind, you know, with your ethics,
Well, you
with
can
your
justify
morals?
whatever way you want now.
Yeah, it's always.
Now more than ever.
Once PGA did the deal, it was over. Like the whole brand around, you know, Saudi Arabia and so forth. It's like it's nationally, like global acceptance of that's it. It's future sport. Who's got the money? Who's going to put it up? That's it. You can't argue because even when it was red hot, right? When people make the stand, they go, "Oh, how can you do business with Saudi Arabia?" Remember, the shark was the face of all that spite, and he was going, "Well, hang on. A lot of companies are owned by Saudi Arabia, like Subway, for example. Anyone has a foot long, well, you're essentially doing the same deal, complicit. So that's it. Like,
and also, like if you're someone who's like Rory McIlroy, for example, or someone who's so passionate about your sport and loves it, and it's in your blood, and you can probably say the same about some bike riders. You're so passionate about cycling, and you love it. What's a stronger opinion? Your views on those countries, or your love of the sport and it's surviving and growing and becoming better?
Yeah.
Like, what should you? You know, what side do you take? Because you can't have it both ways, actually.
No, that's right. You'll always find a contradiction at the end of the day. But anyway, more lighter notes. I've got to present.
That'll probably cancel us, that conversation. I think we did well there.
I think we've solved nothing other than the fact that we would take money if it's thrown in front of us in any scenario.
All right, I like the momentum we got there. Press record, Jonesy. We'll do it now.
Okay, let's start. All right, Socialist Podcast, welcome back. No, one thing I want to talk about is I had an incident yesterday, and straight away in life now, whenever I have run-ins, I think, oh, that'll be good for the potty. Store that. The younger generation, so people from the age of 18 to 22, no offense, but the majority of them absolutely fuck me off now. I think we're in for a really bad period for
what
the
age
next
group?
generation.
Sorry, again.
18 to 22.
Okay.
So if there's an 18, 22-year-old listening, prove me wrong. And I'll give you an example. So I went to the apartment. You've been to my apartment, Jules, where that spa is, you know? Like there's a communal spa, communal pool. I go into the spa and I'm there with my partner and her daughter. And there's a girl who's maybe 18 and she's sitting in the spa that can seat 6. And she's blocking the stairs where you walk into the spa and just like in her own meditation state or whatever. And I'm thinking, oh, fuck, here we go. Like a normal person would sit where you could walk in. So I go and jump in, but because I'm obviously big boned, the water level goes up and blocks the jets. So the spa doesn't pump the water out because I sit in and I get the eye roll and she looks at me and I said, oh, sorry, I've blocked your jet bloody pressure. And she's like, oh, it's okay. So then I have to stand up so the water's above my knees just so the jets pump out. But then my partner and daughter walk in and that pushes the water up again. She fucking cracks the shit, storms out of the spa, goes into the sauna, fucking slams the door. And then I saw this other guy cutting laps, giving me the stink eye, and I'm thinking, oh, fuck, hang on, what's going on here? Like, how's this become a fucking issue? I just want to have a fucking spa. Like, what's going on? And anyway, he's giving me the stink eye. I'm thinking, oh, they know each other. He goes into the spa, and I'm thinking, all right, I'll check if they know each other. So I do the fake swim past and I see him pacing up and down in the sauna like there's some massive issue and I'm going to get my arsehole ripped to me. About 10 minutes later, this young girl comes out and rips me and says, excuse me, do you know what manners are? I said, what? She goes, you knew I was enjoying the spa. You deliberately sat in. You blocked the spa pressure just to ruin my enjoyment of the spa. I said, what are you talking about? Like, it fits 6. Am I not allowed to go on the spa because you're fucking blocking the walkway And she goes, no, you knew what you're doing. You ruined my experience of the spa. Do you know what manners is or whatever? Anyway,
this entitled little.
Little.
Did
And
you
I
lose
just said,
it?
I said, what is your solution?
I want to lose it.
Just tell me what your solution is. You're the only person that can block that spa and enjoy the spa. Like I did not design that
she
spa.
wasn't blocking the spa. It's combined mess. It's combined volume.
She keeps going at me, right? Going at me. And like my partner's daughter's like 6, so I don't want to start dropping F-bombs. So I'm holding it in. And then it's getting out of control. And then I finally worked out what was going on. And I pulled the classic line of, clearly the spa is not your issue. Clearly you've got other issues going on in your life. And this spa is an outlet for you to release. But just don't do it on my time. Like I got no time for it. That was enough for her to go, I'll go fuck yourself. She literally dropped the F-bomb and walked off. And then I doubled down with, do you know what manners are? Like the original line. And then this string bean partner comes out of the sauna and doubles down with, is that what you want to teach your kids? Or something like that. Oh, mate, I was fucking over it. Like 20-year-olds get to the point where it's like, mate, I know you're entitled. I know you don't have patience. I know you don't know how the world works. I know you grew up on social media. I know you're addicted to devices and all this sort of shit. But life's going to hit you like a bag of sand across your face at some point. You're not going to be able to be employed. You're going to be stressed over fucking cloudy, overcast day of 15 degrees, and you're going to have to stay inside and fucking read up on meditation techniques. Like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah. Trigger warnings before they watch, the news, or trigger warnings that.
Like,
how's the passive aggressive on it though? The passive.
Do you know what manners are?
Do you know what manners are?
That fucks me off.
Yeah. And at that point, I almost said to her at the end, do me a favor, listen to the next episode of the Social Distance podcast, because you're the last run-in I had since I played basketball against Chutney Crutch.
And you don't want to know what happened to Chutney, so you fucking watch yourself.
Yeah, that's right. But I reckon this is a common thread in that sort of age bracket. The ones that have come out of lockdown, we haven't really dug deep into that as a society. Of like 2 years in those formative years, like when you're 16 to 18, we all grew up. We didn't have to live through a pandemic. But the ones that were locked down, now they've released to the rest of the world. I just don't think they can handle situations like someone sitting in a spa and raising the water levels and taking the sting out of the jets. Like, they can't handle it.
Well, they would have been worried about, like, she would have thought the spa was just for her. Like, she's in it, so she's claimed it. She's claimed it.
That's it. Yeah, block the walkway. You can't walk into the spa. She's blocked it. As if to say, like a dog pissing on a tree root. Like, that's it. It's mine. And I went in to make a clear statement like, no. Welcome to the real world. Oh,
you jumped off the top.
Stay Puff's going in, and we're going to sink you out. That's it.
That would have made me wild as well.
Yeah. Another thing I want to flag is Movember's come on us, boys. 3rd of November. Good charity, men's mental health and prostate cancer and all this sort of stuff. My mate Fruitbat, he signed up. That inspired me because he's already raised $500. So I think the three of us, if we can get together, I've already started. See, I've got the little tash.
Oh, you've come off the back fence. You got a little run. You got to run ahead start.
I got to run a head start. But I think the three of us, I think we can raise some good money for a good cause, boys. You up for the challenge? Like Bewley, he's always got growth. But GB, I reckon it'll look good with a good tash.
I don't think I've got it in me. I think I've shaved. I shaved 6 months ago, and this is where we're at.
No, I think you've got it in you. I think we do it.
So what are you suggesting? We start a social distance podcast Movember page, donation page?
Yeah,
and we promote it.
Yep. So donate, put it in the description, put it in the socials. The three of us will grow some filthy tashes. And by the end of the month, we'll have some good content. It's like that episode of Seinfeld when George and Jerry had Mose at the start. And they're reading the paper and goes, what are we doing?
We'll just have to break the rules a little bit by coming in already with a bit of growth. But by the by, everyone seems to do that.
The good thing for the wrong reasons. The right thing for the wrong reasons.
That's right.
Something like that. Yeah. I don't know.
So in summary, what's your plan for the cat, George? Are you going to keep it or are you going to – what's the go?
He's asleep on my lap right now. Can't let him go.
I've got no problem with you keeping the cat. I mean, I've clearly, it's not my decision. I don't know why I said it like that, like a patronising prick. But just don't
Well,
like.
you're the DS
just,
now.
If you keep it,
you're the boss.
If you keep it, just go. We've got a cat, and it just like does its thing, and it's like every other cat. Don't like walk around with it in a towel and shit, like and like dress it up and bring it to dinner in a coat and shit like that. Don't do that.
Oh,
What are you going to feed it? You're going to be one of those owners that buys like the premium tuna and all that sort of shit.
So okay, here's the thing.
I knew someone used to feed it like ribeye or like eye fillet steak to their cat. I was like,
yeah, I reckon George will
steaks.
crack. I reckon he'll crack. I reckon he'll be that owner.
Oh mate, I was meant to go to the last night on this date. We went out, had a dinner, all right, and then we're like, better get home for the cat. So at 11 p.m. last night, I'm walking around 24-hour supermarkets looking for top shelf pedigree cat food.
It started already.
It started.
I've enjoyed the social life we've spent together in the last 12 or 13 years. But
over.
It's over.
See you later.
It's over.
I suppose you can't come play cricket today now because you got to look after the cat.
Oh, it's got a proper little.
It doesn't look happy. Look at it.
Oh, mate, he's got a proper like doona for it, mate. It's over. It's over.
Quick final thinker, boys.
I'll tell you what. This selfless good deed that Caitlin did last night is not a selfless good deed.
No.
The moment she walked into the camera, handed you the cat in a blanket, she pronounced that it was not a selfless good deed.
Yeah. It's over, George.
Anyway, it's still a good deed, nonetheless.
Yeah. Good stuff, boys.
All
right. Say goodbye to Rooster for us.
See you, Rooster.
Or chutney. Chuts.
Could have gone Chuts.
I wanted to call it Tito, like Paul Tito, the ginger.
Tito's good. Call it Paul.
Paul.
Yeah, just give it a normal name. Everyone has a fancy, fluffy name. Just call it Paul. Or
Bruce or something.
Bruce.
My man's name's Paul.
Start of the year, George, you were on track to break the record for the most race days of any rider in any season in the history of cycling. In fact, I think you were about 30 days in front by bloody March. Like, how did you end up at the end of the year? Where'd you finish?
Lost a bit of wind out my sails. Crashing, not done the tour, and then the old Vuelta non-selection, let's say.
Protest.
Took me out, but there's still room for China, or at least 3 days of China. I did China 3 days. And actually, it was an interesting race. I didn't finish. I got sick, and I was actually sick when I went there. And they sent me home. Lost my voice completely. But in the week or so I was there, it was I had a few bizarre experiences. And one of the things I noticed straight away is when I got there, I started having like real intense nightmares. Like every night I was having real intense nightmares.
Cheese dreams?
Bees dreams?
No, cheese. They reckon if you eat a certain type of cheese, have weird dreams.
That's because blue cheese has a mold in it that's essentially like a hallucinogen. But I started having real intense nightmares, and I was trying to work it out. And then one day, it came to me one day. I remember like when I was young, every Monday night, I'd have nightmares. And I was like, this is weird. At first, I was like, that's 3 weeks forward. And then it became a pattern. And after like a couple of months, I'd be like, why am I having nightmares on Monday nights? And like, we didn't have a routine as a family growing up. But the only thing that happened was on Monday, Mum and Dad were both teachers. So we had staff meetings. They had staff meetings, and then Dad would like go to something. And so the only thing is on Monday night, we'd always have the same soup. Like we'd have like this like hearty soup mix. And then
that was it.
Our MSG. And MSG. And I went to China, and it turned to me that I was just smashing the back out of all this MSG. And it was just giving me like...
What is MSG? Is it like to keep things fresh?
Monosodium glutamate or something.
It's flavor.
It's almost like just heroin.
A flavor enhancer, maybe?
Yeah, it just makes everything better. It makes you like quite addicted to it.
Yeah. Right.
The other interesting story from China was the first stage. We were riding along, and I was like the most relaxed race in the world. You literally ride. You don't race until the last 1.5K. So I was at 3K to go on the first stage, and I was sitting right at the back, and we're done with done my job, sitting at the back, no danger of losing time, nothing like that. And I was sitting, and I looked to my left, and I was like, "Fuck, there's Viviani," and start talking to Rowie, talking to anything else, boys at 3K to go. And then I'm like, "This is so weird," and then Rowe said, 2.3K right side we're last wheel in the peloton, last wheel. Said 2.3K, make one move on this little bridge. Best way to do this. And then I was looking at Elia, and he turned to me and he said, I'm either going to look fucking stupid or I'm going to win. And then
that's it.
And then Bumfa wins the race. Comes through.
Wow.
But how's
those
that,
massive roads, eh?
Yeah, massive big boulevards. So everybody. So you can be last wheel, but you're only 10 rows from the front.
Mm.
So
there's still massive prize money over there in China because they're legends of the King Eye Lake where there'd be like of tens of thousands of US bucks.
So that was all King Eye and Tahu.
Yeah,
that used to be the one.
Langkawi used to have a fair bit. Not the same
People
as
stuffing stuffing cash into bike frames.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hainan, they used to have heaps.
Yeah.
I remember a UAE tour a couple of years ago, Bora doing the same thing. Like, I think I rode the front all day or something. Who was I riding for there? Fuck, I don't even know. Groningen maybe. And then I was like the last wheel with like 3 or 4K to go, and like Sam Bennett, all the Bora train just like sitting at the back, and then finish the stage, and they're like, "Oh yeah, Sam Bennett won." I was like, "Fuck, he was at the back with me like 3K to go." But the roads are just so big that there's just always space. Yeah. And you don't have to fight. Everyone else is up there losing riders, losing teammates.
Oh, you just realize how like we try and adapt like a European style of racing to Asia, and like we just don't know what we're doing. You just see guys like 5K out. Oh, well, 5K out. Shit, I need to be in position. So they're pushing the front. And you're going 60K an hour, and they're doing 500-600 watts. You're going full, and in the wheel, you got 2 fingers in your nose talking to your mate about, and then you go, 2K to go, better move up. And then take one move, boom, one left-hand corner, like 800 meters to go. You're at the front, see you later.
Yeah.
I remember one year at the Tour of Beijing, Chavez won the best young rider. I think it was 2014, and got like this statue of the Bird's Nest Stadium, like a real prestigious one. And he says that he gave it to me to take back to Europe. I can't remember that transaction, but that was the year.
It's on your mantelpiece.
I could probably fill a few gaps in there.
That was the year I missed the flight.
Yeah.
And scrambled back because he said about 6 months later, he goes, "Hey, Pacos, you still got that statue thing, the bird's nest?" I go, "What are you talking about, mate?" Yeah, so I don't know what that was worth, but gone. Imagine being a hotel cleaner, just going.
This is a good way to finish the show, actually. We're at Tour of Beijing, since we're in China. Tour of Beijing 2014. 14, was it? And Chavez
at the
finished
Barca pad, remember? Because I had to get back for the Barca pad.
Chavez finished third on GC. And anyway, and then Simon Yates. Simon Yates was his first year in the team, I think, and he had a big crash in the last stage, banged himself up massively. And then we had to go to this function at the Australian Embassy in Beijing.
That's
So Simon Yates gets excused from the function because he's got like pretty much no skin on his body. So we all go to this function, meet these dudes at this function who are like, "Oh, we'll take you to some nightclubs or whatever afterwards." End of the season in Beijing. We're like, "All right, sweet." So we all go to the nightclub. We're in the middle of Beijing, this like hectic city, like fucking getting in, no idea where we are. We get out of the taxi and there's this like mummy walking towards us, and it's Yatesy, just covered in bandages. We're like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, mate, I just didn't want to go to that function, but I was still keen for a few beers with the boys." So then he's put his iPhone into Chinese language to like be able to explain to the taxi driver where he's trying to go. And then we get into this nightclub and he can't work out how to change it back. There's like 5 of us sitting there trying to put his phone back into English.
He changed his whole
phone, his whole language of his phone. Yeah.
Didn't think the old copy paste into translate. No. I'm going to just
Barry,
change the
mate.
language of my phone to Chinese.
Simpleton. Yeah.
So then anyway, we're in this nightclub, and Jonesy's to Jonesy's credit, is actually being pretty tame for himself, disciplined, because
I wanted to let rip.
We were all leaving to the airport on a bus at about 7 a.m. or something. No, like it was pretty early.
Oh, yeah.
7 a.m. or something, 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. But Jonesy had to go to the airport at like 3 in the morning because he was getting a different flight to us that that the team had paid for, but it was a separate flight because he was coming from Australia. So Jonesy's like, I'm not going to get hammered because I've literally got to go to the airport in 2 hours or 3 hours. Then he leaves. He's like, okay, I'm gone. I'm heading to the hotel, get my bag, and then I've got to go to the airport, and I'll see you in Europe, yours. Gets back to the hotel. He's got 45 minutes to spare. So he decides, I'll start to edit the backstage pass.
Yeah.
So he lies on his bed in the dark, his roommate sleep, starts editing the backstage, nods off.
Oh, fuck.
Not just nods off, like flatline, like cooked. I've had a big week working cooked. And then I just remember finally like snorting myself to wake up, and I go, what's going on? And I see Miha, and he goes, fuck, man. I tried wake you so many times. I go, no. What time is it? I look at it, it's like 3:45 in the morning. I've missed the bus by 45 minutes. So I go into a massive state of panic. And I'm like, fuck, mate, you went to wake me up. He goes, mate, I lifted you up at one point and you looked at me and then your eyes shut and I let go and you just hit the deck. Like you were gone.
I just don't understand how you can't wake someone up that's not in like a medical coma.
Yeah. My brain said, I'm shutting it down. I'm gone. So I panicked, threw everything in my bag, hightail it to the airport and got a cab. And it's 48 minutes before my flight leaves. And the lady goes, I'm sorry, we shut check-in 2 minutes ago. I said, listen, 2 minutes, I need to get the bus. And she goes, it's shut, you're finished, it's over. It's like,
so then we roll up 2 hours later for our flight, and Jonesy's still curled up in the corner of the terminal at the airport, having just spent a few $1,000s to buy the same ticket as us. And then
1,500 euro.
That the team won't reimburse because he fucked up and missed it. So then we all get on the plane, and we're all flying business class. It's put on by the organisers. So the whole business class suite of the plane is taken up by Greenwich riders and staff, you know? And there's one free seat. And there's no public in there. It's just Greenwich. I say to Jonesy, just fucking sit down there, mate. Like, they won't even know. So Jonesy, he's like, do you reckon? I was like, mate, just sit down. It's all about it. It's all about
the worst day of my life.
So Jonesy goes, all right, sits down in business class. And I said, put your eye shade on, act dumb. Like, puts his eye shade on. Within 1 second of him sitting on that seat, this air hostess comes over. Sorry, sir, can I see your boarding pass? Shows it 67J. And the lady's like, sorry, mate. And then Jonesy, I've never seen a man so close to tears in my life, just went.
I said to
you
her,
don't understand.
You don't understand. I've had the worst day of my life. I miss her. She goes, back. 67J. 67J. Just fucking get out of here. Oh, mate, I just remember the whole crew in business class were I remember Heyman pissing himself laughing. Like, even Steve-O goes, yeah, that'll teach you. You got to set your alarm, mate. There was no sympathy. Like, fuck. Anyway.
It was fucking funny.
1,500. Right. Good times.
Money well spent. All right, boys.
All right,
so donate Movember.
We'll set up a Movember page and we'll post it on the thing socials. At least you and I will do it, Jonesy.
I'll try, but
George will try. Yeah. Oh, that's all that matters.
Yeah. In between looking after your cat, mate, all you have to do is grow a mo.
Shave a moustache with your cat.
Yeah. The whiskers. Good stuff.
Bell Rooster. All right. Good work, boys.
See you, Rooster. Like, share, subscribe. We'll be back sooner rather than later.